it's gonna be as wild as it can be, with no apology. And you're gonna love the show. They're all their own wildflowers. Bonnie answers calls and comments on the phone, right alongside best friend Mandy Jones. They'll be talking, laughing, shouting, and shaking their fists. Bonnie and Mandy. Make sure you're always watching, or you could miss it if they ever kiss. Those two wildflowers did what they had to do, and now they're free. And it's gonna be as wild as it can be, with no apology. 7:30 Wednesday night, they're on the air, Wildflowers. And you know you'll love the show on Facebook Live, Wildflowers. Bonnie Scalisi and Mandy Jones, Wildflowers. Flowers.
Welcome. You're looking live at the Wildflowers. I'm Mandy Jones, the comedian, and as always, next to me is...
Hi, Bonnie Scalisi. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.
It is episode number 39 of this show. If you found the show, please share the show. Share the show. You should also subscribe to Mandy Jones, the comedian, on YouTube. That's where we have the Wildflowers every Wednesday. Am I?
Is that mine?
Yeah. Ooh, it was like muffled. I was so ready to yell at the guy in the corner over here, but I'm not going to start. It's only an hour. This is an hour-long show, and you guys have probably seen us fight for quite a while if you've watched the show before. Housekeeping tips. Bonnie, you want to tell them what the topic is tonight?
The topic is road rage, because our guests are comedians, and they're going to tell all about the heckler type of situation. So you are in for a really special treat. And we have a lot of people already tuning in. I want to say hi to Nancy Weems and our favorite Robin DeVito. And David Lange is saying hi to everybody. My boyfriend, Michael Steven Spielberg. Marsha Fitzpatrick is saying hi. Patty Marie, how are you, Patty? And Bill Hansen. And James Walker is one of my Facebook friends. He's one of my Trump friends. He's tuning in today. And, thank you. Robin is sharing the show. Everybody, please share the show right now. Sharing is caring. Mary Underhill, Mandy's mom, is watching. And we have a few things we're going to plug before we introduce our guests. So, Mandy, do you want to do that? Because you're better.
Yeah, sure. And I thought I had my list, but now I think I should have them memorized by now. Friday coming up, I'm not actually doing the Calamity Jones Hour, but Bonnie and I will be at a live show. Live Comedy's back. At McGuire's in Bohemia. Go to govs.com to get tickets for that event. Terry McNeely is the headliner. Bonnie and I will be performing along with Tony Landolfi, Peter Wolfinger, who you've seen on this show, and some other just great comedians. So that'll be fun. That's on Friday coming up, the 4th. Then on the following night, the 5th, we'll be over at Coaster's Tavern in East Meadow.
With a treat is Richard Schultes is the headliner. Mandy and I are in Kristen Tinsley production. She hit it out of the ballpark in that one. Richard Schultes, one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun. And then we have Sunday off, and then Monday, the 6th, will be at G's Club, which is going to be our first. Bonnie and I are going to be producing shows there every first Monday of the month. And once again, Terry will be closing that show. Bonnie and I will be there, and some other people that you've seen on this show, maybe the Calamity Jones Hour as well. So come down. There's no cover for that show on Monday, and there's no minimum for food or bev down there.
That's right. And one other one I promised I would plug is Justin McDonald and Eli Velasquez have me in a show on Saturday, June 12th at Hopkins in Bayshore. I think it's Hopkins Brewery, but I'm not sure. 631-316-441. So should we get started? Or?
Yeah, I think let's do this thing.
Okay, so Our next guests are two besties. They do comedy together, they fish together, they drink together, and they jerk off together. And that's how they wanted me to introduce them. The very, very funny Tony Landolfi and Terry McNeely.
Thank you.
Welcome. Well, we should say welcome back, Tony.
Yes, I've been here before in a Wildflower.
And if you guys know Bonnie and I, you would have known that we used to have the best co-host in the world with us, who's no longer with us, who's now just a guest on this podcast.
Nobody asked me.
You used COVID as a total fucking you pulled the COVID card on us.
I pulled the COVID card. They closed everything down. I pulled the COVID card.
Italy was closed down. And Tony,
I can't come to your house anymore.
I didn't say we weren't doing it in the house.
I can't come to your house. It's unsafe.
She wasn't doing it at the house. We were still at Gov's at the studio, and it was shut down.
I got to rag on you for 10 minutes.
And then you fucking gave it to me.
I'm pretty sure I had the first case of COVID.
Fucking typhoid Mandy over there. And she gave it to me.
And I was literally like coughing on him, joking, because it was like before 2020.
Yeah.
And it was like,
and you're all here and you're all lived.
We're in the studio and she's coughing on my
shit. He's like, don't get me sick.
Everybody lived.
Yeah.
And we all lived to tell about it. So you're here.
So Robin is very excited to tune in. She's been waiting for this show.
Yes, we know Robin.
Buster, I'm Buster.
Kratz, how are you? So let's get right into it. What's the biggest thing that happened to you as far as like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst? What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you
on the road
comedy?
on the road rage tour, or just comedy in general?
In general.
Yeah, road rage is not a thing that's going on anymore. It was 2012 to 2017, but Tony was on a ton of shows with it. That's
the big part of road rage.
This is how this whole thing started. Was we were talking in the green room one day, and they wanted to hear all the crazy stories. But so I don't know the worst.
Yeah, what's the worst?
I've been attacked on stage 6-7 times in Gallo.
Physically,
George Gallo,
you?
the creator of the road rage, and my partner for all those years was attacked probably 26 times on stage.
Oh yeah,
George, I understand.
Attacked on stage.
George had to go out and take like judo lessons and shit because those people just kept
killing. He had to know how to start from being on his back.
Idiots take things seriously. They don't know it's comedy. They disagree with you, so they go up there and they're like, "Let me get the mic," and you just gotta.
They try to.
The worst one was probably, I think, the Ale House show was the worst one. Long Island Ale House that I was on.
Yeah,
with you
probably.
So the Long Island.
He can't hear you, or he can't hear any of us.
Testing. Can you guys hear me? Just type in yes or no. Yes or no. Can you hear me? All right, so just keep going.
So we were at this place. It's out of business now. It's called the Long Island Ale House. It was in Medford, and it was a nice place. It had a good setup and everything like that. And Terry was on stage, and there was some guy at the bar with his girlfriend, and the girlfriend wouldn't stop heckling him.
Like, do you remember what she said or no?
I don't remember whatever she said.
She was saying whatever, and I said, "Shut up." Why don't you shut up?
You sure you didn't have a worse?
No, something like, "Oh God, enough! Nobody wants to hear from you." Whatever.
It was something to that effect.
And then I said something. I don't know. Dot head.
Yeah.
Oh.
Something like that.
Something like that, and she was
years ago when you're allowed to actually speak and talk.
When you're allowed to say dot head and speak.
So I said something like that, and then the guy said, "She's not Indian, she's Guyanese," and I said, "It's the same shit."
Oh, it's even worse.
And then he came up on stage.
So he jumps up onto stage. Now he's nose to nose with Terry, and he's like, "Well," and Terry's going, "Just go sit down. Just go sit down." Now the way this thing was, where the stage was, to the right of the stage was a door that led to outside. So I came up with a little plan where
escape.
No. So I was going to come up behind the guy and stab him.
With a knife?
Oh yeah, he had a knife.
No, with a goddamn shoe. Yeah,
you just carry a shiv around at comedy shows?
The guy was starting shit, and he was with a bunch of people. So yeah, so he always has his on it. So.
Oh wait, if that one's not good, I have this one too.
Oh good, because I have a cheese platter.
So anyway,
it calmed down, and then afterwards he told me.
My plan was to go up behind the guy and just give him a little poke in the kidney.
Oh, just
And then
kill anybody.
and then run out that side door.
And there was a sewer
There
there.
was a sewer there.
So
So
I drop
I
it in the sewer.
throw the knife down the sewer and then come back in through the front
This
door.
is like every first
Hey, what happened?
This is like
Yeah.
the
Like-
first
Comedy
48.
101.
Every episode I've
Yeah.
ever seen of the first 48.
So, but then the guy calmed down and he stepped off, so I didn't have to stick him. So we were all right. It worked out.
Let me
okay.
give you let me rewind a couple of years back, give you a whole backstory, right? I started comedy. I take class at Governor's. Carrie Carabas was the teacher.
No,
Yeah,
really?
of course. Oh, it was the best.
Carrie's awesome.
She's the one that made my career because of who she introduced me to. I
Yes.
got very fucking lucky. Okay, he'll tell you. I've been in this less time than he. I was very lucky. He knew all these people. I was like a fucking student taking class. So Carrie was a teacher. Took class, loved it. I loved it because she didn't bullshit you. You would go up there and you tell a joke, and she'd be like, "That's fucking stupid. Don't ever let me hear that come out of your mouth again. It's so dumb. You can't even make that funny. Not if you had 6 weeks. Don't do it again." And I'm like, "Holy shit, it's tough love." I loved it. So I just kept going back. Boom, class after class after class. And while we were doing it, like a couple of us, like Carrie's star students, I guess, started rising, where the people would drop out. They weren't doing the class anymore. So it became like me and this guy, Jason and Scotty and Darby and Mick Thomas. They were all like the people, like she was really paying attention to us.
When you say
Like,
they dropped out, is that because?
because they just weren't into it. Well, this is the thing. If you have a really good job, you're going to lose interest in comedy.
Well,
This guy, Scotty J, was a fucking hilarious comedian, but he built websites. So he makes a ton of money, and he dropped out, and he was funny. And it's always the guy you don't want to quit comedy, quits comedy. And the guy you don't, you're like, please let this guy fucking drop out right now.
case in point.
He'll never fucking go away.
Only the good die.
He's
young.
like herpes. He never goes
So
away.
basically, like a couple of us started like going up. So she started sending us out places. Like she always said, do the open mics, do stage time, hit every open mic, everywhere. Then to like me and Mick and Scotty and Darby, she started like, hey, Keith Anthony has a show up in Agua, Massachusetts. Hey, I have a thing in Pennsylvania. So she started taking a couple of the students that she liked with her. And then eventually I started meeting Keith Anthony, Paul Bond, Roach, George Gallo. And that right there forever changed my fucking my life. Because when I would, George would call me up and go, where are you going? And I'm like, oh, Billy Bingo has an open mic at McGuire's. He would go, you're coming. Don't make a fucking face.
I thought I changed your life the moment you met me.
Taking so goddamn long.
Talk
I
about
told
the
you
moment
it's
you
a
met
long-winded
me.
fucking story. You want to know about Road Rage? This is how it happened. So
Knob
Guys,
Creek. Straight Kentucky
stay
bourbon.
tuned for Act
9 years
2.
aged,
Tony
100
will
proof.
be in Act 2.
Thank you.
So
This is how I deal with Terry McNeely, by the way. You notice piece of the bottle, we just started and a quarter of the bottle's gone already. This is how I deal with Terry McNeely.
Say the hour.
So anyway, so they started setting us out. So he would call me up and go, what are you doing? An open mic? He's like, why don't you I have a show. Just come on, do 10 minutes with me. And I'm like, oh shit, this is cool. So he started George started taking me out to real shows. Instead of going open mics, he goes, instead of going there and doing jokes fun of comics that are judging you anyway and not laughing on purpose because they're creeps, go to a real show and get a real audience. So he started taking me out, and then that was awesome. So then when George wasn't around, because he had a real job, made good money in the city and shit, I couldn't have my bill caught up his ass every 5 seconds. So I would always, this is how I met him.
All right,
I always wanted to be at this.
Get ready, Tony.
Here
About
we go.
time, right?
This is fun.
Jesus.
Everybody
I
listen
had this
up.
whole fucking planned out. You had to be a
Hurry
bitch.
up. People
That's
are
all the
watching.
shit.
Shut up for you, dude.
They were asking about Road Rage. I'm fucking giving the fucking genesis of how it happened. So I always Roach doesn't even know this, but back when I was beginning, he was the nicest fucking guy to everybody.
He still is the
He
nicest
is
guy.
just
to
gonna be
everybody.
our
he's a nice guy in Suffolk County. But he was
Greatest
one
guy
of
ever.
those guys that already had success, was already featuring strong features, starting to headline in 07, 06. And he was so fucking nice to everybody that
He's still nice to everybody.
I know he is.
Yeah, he's a nice
I know.
person.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So when I couldn't be around where Gallo was because he had a real life, I would go, let's find out where Roach is going to be. I always just wanted not even to get a spot, just to go hang out because he was nice to us. So I was like, let's go be around Roach. So I started hanging out at McGuire's. At that point, Tony was headlining McGuire's like crazy because the old owner like loved him and headlined him like crazy.
Wow.
Well, it's because I was dating the bartender, who's now my
Well,
wife.
no, this is before.
That's
This
right,
is before you were dating Karen.
That's right.
You met her while you were headlining.
Yes, I did.
Who
meet
was
Karen
that
while I was
to?
So
I didn't know that.
so then I came in there. So I came in the bar. It's funny because I knew a little of him from when I was like an open micer that he was a real comic.
Oh, he
So
heard
so I know I
that.
knew of him a little bit of comedy. I heard of a little bit of him from the radio because I was into heavy metal. So I knew his name because I knew where Fingers was.
So I was on WBAB for
He was
10
on
years.
BAB for 10 years with Fingers Metal Shop. And then I also knew a lot of his cousins, like on all sides of his families. And then so I remember one day I went in there, and he's got his fucking bowling shirt on, and he's at the bar with a Jack Coke, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? I dropped Sal's name, and I was bullshitting with him. Then we didn't see each other like, regularly. And then Mike Dillon kept putting on shows where I was featured for Tony. And then all of a sudden one day he goes, hey, want to go fishing tomorrow, me and my dad?
I was talking about fishing, and Terry was like, I never caught a fish ever. I'm like, you come with me.
I've been
You'll catch
fishing
a fish.
5-6 times before I went with him.
I said, you come fishing
And
with
I
me.
caught a weak
You'll
fish
catch a fish.
in like the early 90s. I don't even count it. So then one day he said, we want to go fishing. And then boom. Then we were just fishing and doing shows, fishing, doing shows.
So the
he-
first,
But yeah, the road rage shit, he was like, it was me and George Gallo, but it was Tony, Rob Cividanis, Chris Davis, John Consoli, and even Hugh Murray and Keegan.
Hugh Murray.
They were brought on as really young kids. They were like, they had fucking wet behind the ears. So I was already 5-6 years in, and they were like brand new. But me and Gallo loved those two kids. So we were on so we did this original tour. Because basically George said to me one day, oh, they say comics don't work in the summer. And they're like, yeah, that's the whole saying, it's always like spring and fall is very busy. He goes, oh yeah, comics don't work in the summer, huh? Watch this motherfucker. And then I'm like, what is he doing?
Booked a tour.
Yeah.
Because George Gallo is insane.
He's got such fucking drive.
And he's got the tenacity of a
Tenacity
pit bull.
of a motherfucker. And I swear to God, like even I was like idolizing him at the point when I met him, maybe looking up to him and like, oh shit. And he told me, he goes, I'm going to get us a show every day in June. This is February 2012. He goes, I'm going to book the entire month of June, 1st to the 30th. And he basically booked 28 days in June.
Oh my God.
But he would call me up every day and be like, hey, asshole, June 4th, 6th, and 9th in the books. Call you tomorrow. Yo, schmuck. June 21st, 23rd, in the books. I'll call you tomorrow. Call Cividanis, put him on these two. Call Tony, put him on these three. Call Gumanjani, I'm going to put him on that one. Tell Davis to get out of his drunken slumber, we'll put him on these three. And then that was like...
And that's it. And that's how Road Rage
But that was the original thing. But then George goes, let's not let it start like the tour. Let's just make it an ongoing thing. So then we just kept doing crazy fucking shows. And then we ended up doing Rudy's. Remember that? Rudy's? Tell them the Rudy's story.
There's a place in Patchogue on 112 it's called Rudy's, right? So we do Road Rage Sugar, and it's me, him, George, and Jimmy Britt hosted it.
Yeah.
Okay? Jimmy Britt, who lives in Colorado now.
He was good to have around, though. He was fucking good time.
So we get done with the show. Terry and I are outside having a cigarette, and
George just went up, right?
This Karen comes out.
Yeah, before that even existed.
And she looks at me and Terry, she goes, you guys are racist. You should call yourselves the Road Racist Tour. And I go, what did we say that was racist? Huh? What did we say that was racist? Now she's just blinking at me. I'm like, name something I said that was
This in the
racist.
city?
No,
This is in
Medford.
Patchogue. Medford. So I'm like, what did we say that was racist? And she's just blinking. I'm like, we're
Right.
racist. What did we say?
Right, so I could remove it.
I
from my
don't
act
know.
or
I just
consider it.
remember you guys were
Just
racist.
like any triggered schmuck, they never have an answer.
And I said,
they just say
do
things
yourself
and they never have anything to
favor,
back it up.
go home and feed your 40 cats.
And Tony's like, he's out, he's smoking. He's like, I don't really give a fuck what you said. I did what I love tonight. I did comedy. I'm getting money. I'm drinking Jack and Cokes. I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm going to go home and not think about your fat ass.
Yeah.
So fuck you. And I'm
Normally,
fuck-
about it on
dying
a podcast in
cackling
a
outside.
decade.
Normally I
That's what I
don't
wanna
get
do.
that nasty, but she was like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
Rudy's was one of my
shut
favorites.
the fuck
It's like,
up."
yeah. And we will literally, to this day, okay, me, him, and his dad will go fishing. His dad always wanders off somewhere and goes like, I think of the fish over here.
Yeah.
So you two shitheads stay over here. And he wanders away. So when
He does a great Italian
I
accent.
know.
So
yeah,
when, I love his father like you wouldn't believe. So I try to imitate him all the time. So we're always fishing like 8-10 feet away from each other. And when we're not throwing Sopranos lines at each other or lines from Departed or Goodfellas,
Godfather,
or shit like that, all of a sudden we'll be fishing. Everything gets nice and silent, and then one of us, this happens 2-3 times a year. One of us will go, "You're a racist," and we will laugh almost until we fall in the fucking canal. It's just like
great.
that's how we are. We never we won't talk about shit for months.
Terry-
We just do it while we're fishing.
Terry became a made man when my dad one gave him a bottle of his homemade wine, but that was for your
That's a
fiance.
unicorn. That doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
That doesn't happen.
Ask him. That doesn't happen.
Does not happen.
Especially-
That means you're accepted into the
And
family.
Wait.
I'm Irish.
Yes.
I know.
The only people,
McNeely, I didn't
the
know.
only
I didn't
people who
know.
have gotten a bottle of my father's wine is him and Anthony Comia. That's it. When I went to the compound, I was
Two
like,
Tauruses.
"That's it." Shut up, you faggot. Anyway, and when Terry became shithead number 4.
Yeah.
Because we're all shitheads. Me, my 2 brothers.
Call up in that other
We're all
shithead. Call that shithead. Call the other
Hey,
shithead.
shithead. Where's the other shithead? Get hold of him. I'm like, all right. My father, the first time he met Terry, we were fishing, and Terry was like off somewhere, probably shitting under the bridge. And my father goes, "What's he do this one?" And I go, "He's a comedian." And he goes, he's a comedian like you? And I go, "Yeah." I go, "But he does some acting, like background work and stuff like that." I go, "On TV shows." What shows was he on? He was on this one, that one, this one, and I mentioned Boardwalk Empire. My father goes, "He was on at the Boardwalk?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That's good. All right." We get done fishing. We go back to
You
my.
tell him about the affair?
We go back to my father's house. Now, this is the first time Terry's out with me and my dad. So my father goes right up to me and goes, my son, he tell me you was on at the Boardwalk. Terry goes, "Yeah, he was." He goes, "I seen every episode. I don't see your fucking ass on there." And I'm like, "God damn it, Dad."
And then I told him, I'm like, yeah. Now he goes, "What are you doing now then?" And it was the summer that I went SAG, that I got my union card out there.
Oh, you've been in a lot of movies,
Yeah.
right?
So then, so I'm working on The Affair at the time. So I tell his dad, I'm like, the Affair, they film it in Montauk. I love it because I play a fisherman. And that's how I got my SAG card, is they wavered me for like 6-7 times in a row.
You play a fisherman after you, like...
Yeah, like a lobster. I have to carry lobsters, like past Joshua Jackson.
Tony's
This is years
fishing
ago.
expedition
Yeah, this is years ago.
trained you for that.
Well,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
all I got to do is look like a
It's
slob
because
and
of
walk.
me, Terry got his SAG
That's
card.
why.
Because he had his fishing gear in his trunk.
Actually, he's right.
I know.
He's right.
I just...
I'm the reason why
He's
Terry
right,
McNeely got his
because
SAG card.
You know what? Tony's actually right,
Yeah.
because Hunter from Central Casting called me up and he goes, "Let me get this straight. You have an SUV and fishing gear?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You're my new best friend this summer." So he wavered me 17 times and I got my SAG card.
Yeah.
So I tell his dad, Libby is his dad. I tell Libby, I'm like, "Yeah, so I'm working on The Affair now." And he goes, "I like The Affair. Everybody fucks."
Well, I just want to interrupt just briefly. Stevie GB wants to say hello to both of you.
What up,
Oh, I love
Stevie?
Love Stevie GB.
Stevie's the greatest. man.
Hello,
And
Mr. GB.
One of my Facebook
Mr.
friends,
GB.
Trump people, Harry Flag Drop, is finally catching us live, and he wanted me to say hello
Flag
to
drop.
you.
That's probably not a real last name. That's probably what he
It's
does.
okay. You know, we all have to.
No, I know.
You know, we have to support in any way we can. So,
Well,
we appreciate you tuning in.
Thank
And
you
Lil
for
Pratt
tuning
said, "I
in.
didn't think SAG accepted racists."
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
Racist and
I don't really
rapists.
ask
There's a lot of
questions.
rapists, too.
And Evan Weiss says hi. And he
Oh,
made a
hello,
lot of
Evan.
comments about producing, that you produce.
Oh, shut up.
We love Evan Weiss.
Evan Weiss is the Jewish Charlie Brown.
Don't
Remember
call
that.
Don't call Evan a producer.
Don't call me a
He
producer.
doesn't like that.
Nobody's. Mandy and I are going to be producers.
Anyway.
Terry's going to be the headliner at our first produced show.
Hit me up
at
there,
G's
brother. Come
Club on June 7th. So it's free cover. Come and support the venue, and you don't even have to pay anything to get in. And share the show right now.
Share it.
Watching,
Share
press
it.
that share button, or I'm going to give you the corkscrew right now. Press the share button and share.
Let me share something also with my Facebook friends.
Absolutely.
All the people that inbox me when I'm in Indiana and Wisconsin and fucking South Carolina.
Look at him bragging about all the places he is.
When are you going to be in Long Island?
Yeah.
Well, this Friday, I'll be in Long Island at McGuire's with all three of these people.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
That's right. All of us.
here's the
All
answer
of us.
to, hey, Terry, when are you going to be in Long Island? This Friday, I'll be in Bohemia. And then you know what happens, Mandy? We get the people, oh, Bohemia? Well, I live in Sayville.
Yeah,
when are you going to be there? I go, oh, that's the next town over. How much closer do you want me to get?
You have to be in
Do
their
you want
living
me
room.
to do a comedy show in front of your fucking garage?
In their backyard. Thank you for
I
putting your
love
arm
these
in front
people.
of
I
my
go,
face.
when are you going to be near me? Now I'm near you.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Show up.
Are you going to
Pay for the
ignore the
ticket.
posts until Saturday morning and go, hey, Terry, when are you going to be in Bohemia? Oh, last night. But you made believe you didn't see the post so you could inbox me to put some strange thing out in the universe that you have interest in seeing me.
It's
If you
true.
don't, don't.
100%
If you
Yeah.
do have interest, then
Yo,
buy a fucking ticket.
I
and come
hate
to
Buy the
Bohemia.
ticket and show up.
I love these
That's how
people
you show.
every time. You're like, yeah, hey, I'm in Albany on Friday night. It's Saturday morning. I wake up, I go to a Cracker Barrel, and I drive home. By the time I get home on Saturday, 6 p.m., someone from fucking outside of Albany will call up and go, hey, man, when you coming to Albany?
It's like
I'll be
I
in.
just got done eating
Wait,
fucking
wait, wait.
eggs in Albany because I'm
Speaking-
done doing Albany.
Speaking of Albany, I'll be in Albany on July 3rd.
Really cool.
Yeah.
That's
At
awesome.
the, what the hell's the name of that place called? In Sprakers. Spinning Room? Is that it? No, that's in Tanner.
Yeah, that's 10.
Fuck, I forgot.
The
But George
spinning
Gallo's
room.
going to be on there with me. so-
Awesome. Adam Snare is saying, we love Adam Snare. He said, don't call him producer or late for dinner. Adam,
And that's why you stopped doing comedy, right, Adam?
no, he's doing comedy. He's in Florida.
Jokes like that? And that's why you should
Jimmy
stop doing
Quinn said, go to Gold Hill, LOL. I know a hole in the fence. Jimmy Quinn. Does anybody know?
Yes, I know, Jimmy.
Jimmy Quinn's funny as hell, man. If that's the Jimmy Quinn a comedian, yeah, it is him. Jimmy Quinn is funny as hell. The guy's
Okay, you got to
great.
compliment Jimmy. So there you go.
It's not Jimmy Quinn, the comedian. It's Jimmy Quinn, my neighbor.
Oh, is that Jimmy Quinn the comedian?
No.
That's your
There's more than
neighbor?
one Jimmy
Right.
Quinn.
Well, fuck you, Jimmy Quinn. That's how you know.
Adam Snare said, suck it, Tony.
You wish. You wish.
Funny.
We're all
Screw you. We went to your going away party. You spent 5 minutes with us, Adam. Go fuck yourself.
Oh.
Oh.
I said,
I'm so
real
sorry.
quick.
We have
It's,
to
we're
do our
halfway through the
sponsor.
Knob Creek. I'm getting cranky now.
yeah, I know.
We're going to do our sponsor right now.
Okay.
Real quick, so you guys just
Okay.
bear
up.
with us for
Just
1
bear with
We're doing
minute.
a sponsor. Shut up.
Yes. And Michelle Asta, thank you for tuning in. Keys Love Jewelry, stainless steel jewelry, all nickel and tarnish free. Keys Cutlery, knives, swords, and self-defense equipment.
You don't have
Oh, yeah.
Excellent quality for reasonable
Sure.
prices.
I thought you were really going to have your stun gun. She's got a
I do.
cork.
I bought a pink stun gun, but I don't know how to use it.
Oh, my
Shop
God.
online
You-
at
and
keyslovejewelry.com.
Don't follow
Keys-
her, you'll find out.
That's right. KeysCutlery.com. Or you can go in person and see Key Fitz and his beautiful wife Teresa at Lala's Flea Market, 1075 Portion Road in Farmingville, New York. You can contact them at 631-379-1781. And I am not mentally capable of having a gun, but I do have a stun gun, which I bought from Key Fitz. And
Maybe I
this
should
is our
take it.
sponsor.
Maybe
But I don't know how
down
to
when
use
you
it yet.
start
It's
saying
still in the
that.
box, but I plan on learning and being ready to zap somebody who fucks with me.
Oh, my
I do
God.
have one other thing to say before we threaten people.
Don't fuck
June.
with me.
No background check needed at Keys Cutlery.
That's right.
Come
He
get
just
your
gave
stun
me-
gun.
He gave me the pink stun gun, and I'm ready to go.
We're
Oh.
extending the 10% off.
There's a 10% coupon.
I'm not kidding. I'm not even kidding. There's a 10% off discount.
If you mention the Wildflowers,
You say Wildflowers.
mention the Wildflowers and get 10% off your stun gun or any other purchase at Keys Love Jewelry and Keys Cutlery, located in Lala's Flea Market and Antiques Mall, 1075 Portion Road.
Do you know people? I love people in Mathar. He said, come out to Amish country. I'm here, a Jew working for Mennonites.
Amish?
Running a
Amish.
Amish store.
Yeah,
Not Amish, the Amish.
What is that from?
Amish.
Amish.
Makikats Amish.
Amish country.
Amish. I was close.
Fangu.
Everybody knows what I mean, so just, go,
By the way,
Pete.
you should know Bonnie's halfway through a bottle of Pinot Gris. Bonnie's halfway through a bottle of Pinot Gris right now. Just want to let you know. Yeah, I know. Out of a coffee mug.
She puts it down on the floor. Though.
Yeah, it's because
She hides it. Not like us animals without bourbon. It's all over the place.
No one should know.
Bonnie doesn't want you to know she's an alcoholic. And
I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not. My boyfriend's saying now featuring weapons of mass destruction. Oh, wow. Yeah, my boyfriend has the real ammunition, so I don't have to really carry anything. I'm protected.
Michael, if you were a real man, you'd let her test that stun gun on your balls.
Oh, no! I would never do that.
That's some kinky shit right
Yeah,
there.
that could be very
Calling out
damaging.
to manhood.
You'd be a real man.
I don't
Take
think
your stun
anyone
gun to the
would recover
nuts.
from that.
I've been there.
Mandy, we're going to let you recover this.
Well, we already talked about being abused by hecklers.
Yeah.
What is the worst place you've ever performed at? Like the worst venue, the worst crowd that was not trying to hear comedy?
I don't know, should they say a venue?
Last week? No.
Or experience,
I was
particularly.
at the worst. I wasn't the one who got heckled, but I thought it was the greatest heckle ever. We were in Jersey. I forgot where we were. And my cousin Sal Gavrinali, was up on stage, and somebody just screamed from the audience, "Shut up!" That's
Oh my God.
I mean, that was the greatest heckle ever. That's all you heard. Shut up! I've been to many places where nobody wants to hear shit.
Yes.
I did a fire. I'll tell you one of the worst ones. So I did it was like a charity show for New York City Fire Department.
Oh.
And and all the firemen were there, and they were the rudest bunch of people ever.
No.
And, yeah. I was in Howard Beach, and I was supposed to work at Pips in Brooklyn with Bob Levy and over there, and I put that off so I could go do this benefit for the New York City firemen.
Right.
And 15 minutes into it, nobody was listening. And I honestly asked them, I go, do you guys actually care about that? Because they were just talking amongst themselves and everything.
Right.
They haven't seen each other in a while or whatever. So everybody was just talking about, and I go, do you guys actually, I won't be offended. Let me know. Would you guys actually care? And they were like, no. And I was like, all right, you guys have a great night. And I went, and then I shot over to Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, and went to Pips and had a great 2 sets over there and got paid. And
got back on stage that
Yeah.
night. That's good.
That's cool.
good. Do you ever want to quit?
you have to no. If you don't,
No.
you have to lick your wounds and think you need to be tenacious. You
I would never.
get heckled or you bomb. If you don't bomb at least once in a while, you're not doing it right.
You have to.
You have to bomb.
We've seen celebrities bomb in the city.
I've been
seen
at the
Greg
comedy
Giraldo
show. Yeah.
eat his dick.
When
He's
you say
brilliant.
bomb, what do you mean by bomb?
Bomb, no
Bomb.
laughs, no nothing.
No laughs.
I
Eat dick.
was-
That's not heckling.
Eat a dick.
No.
No, you're a comedian.
You have
Eat a
to
dick.
bomb.
You bomb. You're
Not consistently bomb,
Yeah.
but like
Right.
once every now and again. Bomb.
Yeah.
I was working in a
I've
comedy
seen
cellar.
so many comedians I respect just eat
Colin
a
Quinn.
dick on stage. No laughs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Silence. Crickets.
working in the comedy cellar. Colin Quinn's right after his Broadway show that he did, not the first one that Jerry Seinfeld or anything, that was getting raves and everything like that. I watched Colin Quinn suck it for 10 minutes on stage where nobody, but he was just testing out all his new shit. David Tell too. He was the same night. David Tell and Colin Quinn, the two of them, just shit the bed.
And they're brilliant.
And they're brilliant. They're
I've seen
both
people
brilliant comedians.
that I've been in shows with that bomb.
Oh yeah.
That were
Oh, yeah, it happens.
20 years, like,
Sure.
nice.
I got a call one time. So McGuire's, going back to McGuire's, when
This is
Where
only
we'll
my
be on
second
Friday,
time ever
everybody.
in McGuire's. I went there once to see somebody Joe DeVito. I went to see him in the audience.
Of course you did,
That's
because
the
you
only
stalked
time.
Joe DeVito. Run, Joe.
I love
Run
Joe.
and hide. She stalks you.
Tony
No,
just
we're
wants
friends.
to be
We're
stalked
friends.
by Bonnie.
So that was the only time I've ever been
Gotta
to
have stalkers.
McGuire's. So this will be my second time.
So when
Yeah, I'm sure you're
John
beating him off.
Ryerson, the original owner of McGuire's, had it, I was out one night with friends that I hadn't seen in a long time, and my phone rings, and it's John at McGuire's. I pick it up, and I'm like, yeah, and John was like, Tony, what are you doing? Like, that's how he spoke. And he's like, I need you to come down here and do the second show because this guy here, he's just a fucking train wreck, and that sucks, and I'm letting him go. And
The headliner was fucking.
This is-
the headliner was
Obliterated?
eating his ass.
eating his ass.
So he
Calls
calls
me
him up
up.
in bed.
Set.
He calls me up and tells me that he's going to let the headliner go and needs me to headline the late show.
Oh,
he
got
can't-
it.
he can't
okay,
watch
back
the
to
train.
back.
Can't- there's
I was
no
gonna
way
say,
this
was
guy's
he gonna
gonna-
filibuster while you're there? Get him a fucking.
So I
stage.
go, and I get there, and the headliner was the late Chris Rush. Now, if you don't know who Chris Rush is, and if you've never watched Chris Rush
The legendary
is the
comics
most
idolize Chris
amazing
Rush.
comedian ever.
Never heard of him.
He
Yeah.
is Chris Rush is the only guy who ever kept me silent in the green room because as he's telling stories, I'm just like looking at him because
The guys we look up to idolize
he
Chris Rush.
is amazing. Well, he was. May rest in peace. He was amazing. Just brilliant, smart, hysterically funny. Guy was amazing. And he was eating it that night
in Bohemia.
in Bohemia. Well, Bohemia, they probably weren't.
Yeah, but it happens.
But it's what happens. Chris Rush is like one of them, like he's the high end comics guys, like freaking Joe Starr and stuff. They looked up to this guy
Yeah.
because he was amazing.
people we idolize
Oh my
look up to
God
that
knows who
guy.
he is.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Chris Rush is just one of the most.
From the 70s and 80s. He said.
Yes, and he was eating it. It happens. It happens to
it
everybody.
happens to everyone.
Wow.
Well, and it's how you have to work it out. I mean, and no one realizes how competitive comedians are.
No,
like
this
you
is-
talking about George trying to fill every day of the
Yeah.
month. That's just because it's
It's
straight
impossible.
competitive.
He was
saying,
was.
it doesn't
No.
happen.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
George- yeah,
fucking do
yeah,
it.
Right,
exactly.
George was doing
Tell me
it.
We
no.
don't.
George
Comedians
was
don't
doing it
work in the
spitefully.
summer, so his
Yeah,
spite
show
motivated
me.
him.
Yeah,
But I was blown away because I'm like 28 fucking days in 30
George-
days.
No, but that's how I am.
here's
too.
how
It's
George
like,
is.
tell me no.
George, if you tell George like that's not gonna
Don't
happen.
do that.
Right.
You're not
yeah.
gonna do that.
Yeah.
George's like, oh
Don't do
yeah,
it. I'm not
watch
fucking-
this.
Yeah, he's like
asshole.
this.
Yeah.
Watch
Yeah.
this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Twist his mustache.
Yeah.
And he does it.
Watch this. I'm gonna do it, and he fucking does it. George is insane. I love
Yeah,
him.
if you tell him,
I've known George like
You tell him,
25 years. I
don't
fucking love
do
him.
this, he's going to do that first, third, fourth, and sixth.
Yeah.
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 I know George. I met him twice or three times. I don't know him well.
3 times a gallow.
But I like his attitude that he doesn't give a fuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Spontaneity.
I'm trying to be more like him.
Spontaneity.
It kinda-
You know what it's like being on the road with him when you walk in a restaurant and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like I'm in the bathroom and I hear outside like, yeah, there's a guy out here, and I go, I'm like peeing and I go,
Yeah.
security is talking about a guy and what do you want to fucking believe it's George?
We were
Oh
at
yeah.
we were at the
yeah.
Sloatsburg rest stop on the New York State Thruway. The three of us, me, him, and George. And George is just doing a thing where he's taping himself, just holding the door for people.
Yeah.
As people are coming in, he's opening the door.
He did that on the way home from Bristol.
And then he
once
comes
with me
around
and
and he's
Murray as
holding the
well.
door. And then he went another door and he's holding
He
that
was
door.
like doing TikTok before TikTok was
Right.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He
No,
was
no,
doing-
no.
That
He's
is
doing
TikTok.
Mandy, he
Jackass
was doing
before
Jackass
was a
before
thing.
Jackass
Yeah.
was existed.
So
And even Spike Jones, who was Gallo's friend who directed Jackass, told him that.
yes.
Yeah.
So he's doing this, and then some old man comes walking up to him and goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm just holding the door open."
But what are you actually going to say to the guy? All he's doing is being overly polite.
He's
Yeah,
like,
you
He's
better
opening,
not hold that
but
fucking
he's
door
opening
for
this
me.
door, and he's opening that door, and he's opening this door. Yeah.
So the
So
guy goes,
even if you're like,
I-
what the fuck are you doing? How are you going to call him out?
The guy
All
goes-
you're doing is doing too many favors.
Yeah.
he's like,
It's brilliant.
do you work here? And George goes,
Like,
no, I'm just.
you're annoying me.
The
With
guy's
your
like,
fucking...
do you work here? And he goes, no, I'm just being nice. I'm just holding the door open. I think I got to find the
And he never
manager.
got COVID touching the door.
I think this is pre-COVID.
I'm kidding.
This is way before the fake
And he was
food.
like, I think I gotta find the manager because I don't understand what's going on.
They would just be
And
confused.
Terry and I are outside pissing our pants
Who's paying
because
for the WD-40 for this fucking
this
prank?
guy
It's
is
like-
just upset that
He's
George Gallo is
unbelievable.
holding the door open for people as they
Upset.
walk in. He's just
Oh, that's classic.
We would go to a mall in fucking Lancaster, Pennsylvania, doing stitches, and then he would set up his fucking phone. He would take his iPhone, set it up on a thing in a mall,
He's always filming.
and
Oh, yeah.
and I'm like, how do you have the confidence that no one's gonna steal your phone? He just sets it up on a jewelry counter. He sees a bench, and I'm like, well, I'm on the road. I'm just like, I'm like shopping. I'm buying a shirt, whatever the fuck, We're waiting to go back to shower to go to the comedy club, and then he goes, "You go over there with your phone and you film. I got my phone over there." I'm like, "What do you do?" And he would just lay on a bench and fall asleep on people like this. And it was funny to watch how long the old man would be uncomfortable, but they would actually lay there and let him sleep on him for a while.
Yeah.
fucking
That wouldn't
be
me.
passed
What
out.
the fuck?
that wouldn't
is
be
going
me. I'd be
on
like,
here?
look, and then pow.
But they would let him lay there, and I'm like sitting there like with my phone. I'm like,
Yeah, how long is this gonna go
how long
on?
is this guy gonna?
Shade is
Till he
crazy.
knocks him off. It's
crazy.
craziness.
But
It was insane. But yeah, that's how every show went. Whiskey Wind.
so we bring that to the show. And then, so the first thing he would do is go on stage and just bash the town that we were
Oh, yeah.
in. Just the,
that's a good way to start.
yeah, but he knew.
Wait, George, you're talking
Yes.
about.
Yeah. Well,
So he's
yeah,
very
I'm talking about the old road rage
The older-
stories. Yes.
So the first thing he would do is just bash the town that we were in. Just bash the shit out of it. And then bash the club that we were in. And everybody
Great
would.
way to get it.
Yes,
called
but
back.
here's what happens. Everybody would hate him. And then by the end of the show,
Everyone would love
they
it.
loved him.
They'd walk
Those
over.
people that ran up to the stage to like punch George in the face, after the show, they're buying him a drink.
Well, Steve
Because
Carrillo,
it's
Steve
just-
Carrillo said to me he's a true artist.
He really
Yeah.
is.
He's a true
George
artist.
is I have said before, and I'll say it, George is like the Andy Kaufman of my generation.
Oh yeah, Long Island.
He is of our
Still,
generation.
like whether he likes
Like-
it or not. He probably
and he doesn't like
hearing
being
it.
called that, but I have people at like he's done shit where he's like, this fucking town is like ass for a lot of people, and people are like, I'm gonna kill you, you motherfucker. And then after the show, they're like, come on, man, let me get you a drink.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and then you know what happens? He pulls me in the kitchen and he goes, "Hey, guess what? August 15th, we're rebooked."
Yeah.
I go, "Rebooked?"
Yeah.
You just tore this
my
fucking.
God.
Yes.
You just
There
shit this
she-
restaurant
Shit
into the ground.
all
He's like,
over the place.
"Guess what? August 15th.
And then he's like,
8 o'clock. Make a poster."
we're gonna be back again here. And yeah,
Fucking hilarious.
Like
I'll tell you.
we'd be standing in the back and we'd be like,
I'll
never
tell,
getting
I'll tell
booked
you
here
two
again.
quick stories that I love.
And then I want to hear the
One of them is O'Reilly's in Oakdale, and one of them is the Whiskey Wind. The Whiskey
All right,
Wind,
he said
which is
no.
all the way out in Greenport. So the Whiskey Wind, I'll tell you first. Whiskey Wind, we were out there. So whenever we go way out east, we never want to inconvenience guys like Tony and Cividonis and
I
Chris
did
Davis.
it out there with you.
No, I'm saying we did Mo Diggs. So we call him Mo Diggs. We're like, all right, boom, have Mo, because he's a Riverhead guy. So like Mo Diggs, host.
I like
da-da-da.
Mo Diggs.
He's a great guy. Fucking, we had actually we only did a few shows with him on the Road Rage days, but he was a part of a lot of the fucking crazy hairiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, he always was like, oh my God, every fucking time with you guys. So we go into Whiskey Wind in Northport. It's up by Claudio's. So Greenport, nobody wants us in there. Like they hired us, but the owner and the bartender were in on it. They're like, cool, blah, blah. 2 people came to see us, but there's like 6 other people in there, and they're just like miserable, old, like weathered sailor drunks, and they're like,
I was
So
catching striped
yeah,
bass.
yeah, exactly. like his Phil Johnson character. And then we go, caught a squall.
My character is Schmitty.
Yeah.
Not
no,
Phil
I mean,
Johnson.
yeah, Phil Johnson. But I'm saying.
Got me a striper.
So we go in there. Mo Diggle's up there. He's great. So he's doing fucking 8-10 minutes. Funny as hell. Me and George are laughing. A couple of people that are watching are actually laughing. Okay. I go up there. So now I'm a little bit more edgy. So I turn off half of the crowd, half of the 12-person crowd. Yeah.
Now 3
So
people.
the bartender actually is like this like grizzled blonde old. She's like, And she goes, that's enough. This show's over. It's over. And I go, this show isn't over. You haven't seen your headliner yet. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. George Gallo. So then George goes up there. As George hits the stage, the bartender comes around, pulls the fucking plug out of our sound system. But like me and Tony know, when you do that, George already has a thing where he goes silent anyway, or he makes believe he'll be like, and he goes. Right. So as he does that, we're dying. Me and Flo on the floor dying.
Yeah.
Kicked us out. Then she thought I stole her mic stand. I said, it's my mic stand. I'm not leaving without it. I'll give people concussions. I'm not leaving it without my mic stand. Because I bought that goddamn sound system for $700, and it's made me a lot of money, and I will leave with every fucking piece and every show I've ever done for the rest of my life. So then, I said, O'Reilly's. Then this is another one. Antonios gets this on tape. Not video. Yes. He gets it on audio tape. So he sends me a picture. It's just Gallo on stage with an audio. And it's still one of the funniest things to this day, part of the old Road Rage days. It is this girl, Dawny. She's like a Ronkonkoma townie. Everybody loves her. She's a little wacky, very innocent, but nice.
Oh, I know that chick.
Yeah, Dawny. So she's in the audience.
She showed me her boobs so I could buy her a drink.
Yeah, she does that. So she's in the audience, and Gal's up there, and everything's doing fine. Like, the host did great. I went up there and said, everybody's laughing at Gallo, but Dawny has a thing where she needs to tell everybody something. She needs to be a part of the show.
Right.
Yes.
That's different than a heckler.
She's not a heckler.
No, that's different than a heckler. I know.
She's like in her own world.
She's not a friend of ours. She's like an acquaintance, which I've seen her in 7 different bars in Chicago. Right. But now we're in Oakdale and O'Reilly's. So Gallo's up there, and then she's like, and he's like, what's your problem? She's like, he's talking about nationality. So she goes, I'm Irish, French, Puerto Rican, Black, Italian. And Gallo just goes, you sound like the byproduct of a gangbang.
Oh!
Yes. And the place
my God.
erupts.
Everybody goes nuts.
Erupts.
Because it's Dawn that everybody knows. That everybody knows it's Dawn. And everybody's like, what?
It is. The laughter that my friend caught on tape it's like nothing I ever heard. It's great. Because he just looks at it. He's like analyzing him. And she's like, you sound like the byproduct of a gangbang. Yeah, it turns around. Right, next joke. But the place
because his mind is sharp as a razor.
We had to get George Gallo back. We had him as a guest once.
We had him on Three's Company.
Yeah.
Thanks to me.
Yeah.
We had him on Three's Company.
Absolutely. Thanks to Tony. And a lot of people are like, wow. Harry Flagdrop is saying, wow. Everybody's like saying all kinds of comments about they like what they're saying. My boyfriend said, how much bail money do you guys carry when you do gigs?
Yeah,
together?
it gets scary, Mike. It does get scary at times.
It's a good idea.
There was times back in the day where I was like, we're going to jail. Like, it was a couple of times where I'm like, we're definitely going to jail. There's no way we're not going to jail tonight. And somehow we got out of it.
It happens all the time. And just when you think it's not gonna happen anymore.
Yeah.
I've reached this plateau. You were there the other night, and I got attacked by a wrestler.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it in person. We'll talk about it after.
I heard about that. Dan called me up.
I did my wrestling joke, and it's some 7'2" monster goes on. My kid's on the honor roll, and I sit my whatever the fuck.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
And I'm just like,
the guy was a professional wrestler.
But I said to my boy,
the day before I left on tour.
Yeah.
I'm at Dan Romano's birthday party. The day before I left on tour, I get fucking attacked on stage.
I saw it. I witnessed
weeks ago.
But I was in the audience, and I was sitting next to my boyfriend, and I
saw you guys.
said, I'm going to go up and get in between them.
What?
No, you shouldn't have done that.
Dan Romano
Maybe Dan Romano should have done that because when you run the show and that's your friend, you don't let a fucking guy come over and fucking grab the fucking mic out of it.
Yeah. 7'5". But I said, but my boyfriend said, because I thought I was a woman, he won't hit a woman.
What are you, crazy?
No, I was ready to get up, and my boyfriend stopped me, and he goes, Terry McNeely is a professional. He can handle it.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah, because you would have got a 5 across the eyes.
Actually, you know what's funny?
My boyfriend said Bonnie asked if she should get up and stop him since he would probably not hit a woman. True story. I know it's 100%.
And I'll tell you what's
Michael
funny.
stopped me from getting
Good
up
for you,
there.
Mike.
He stopped
Good
me.
job.
And you know what? And I'll tell you
Pick that up.
what's really funny is the next morning I woke up because Angel Salazar was in the audience.
Yes.
He was there watching.
Yeah.
So
he inboxed me. He goes, "Was that a setup, or is that guy just an asshole? Can't take a joke?" And I said, "Yeah, the latter." And he goes, "Good for you for staying on stage because you actually finished your act." I said, "Fuck yeah!"
So
You're not getting me off stage.
that happened.
Some fucking galoot comes
What was-
over and
that
gives
was-
me his shitty opinion. I'm
You
fuck that.
went on
Wait.
and
I'm like,
you just
still
carried
doing my
on.
time, motherfucker. Anyway, bam, 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 bam,
You
bam.
were- that
That's
was
what I learned from fucking touring around with the old road rage with fucking
That was a
Gallo
Thursday or a
and
Friday?
doing shows with Keith Anthony and Kyrie Carruthers,
It was
who
a
taught me to be
Monday.
fucking
It
tough.
was a Monday.
Monday night, yes.
So that Saturday, I'm up in Canandaigua, New York. Don't be jealous. Canandaigua, New York, which is where God left his shoes.
you dropped the name over there.
And well, this is what I'm saying. And Dan calls me. He goes, "Yeah, I can't believe what happened to Terry, Tony." I mean, he called me for a gig, but he said, "You can't believe what happened to Terry." And he told me the whole story, and I was like, "Well, what happened?" Because I was worried. My buddy got fucking the guy bum rushed the stage, and I wasn't there to punch
He
him.
grabbed the mic out of my hand. He said some bullshit, like kind of like they do in the beginning, like those stupid interviews in
Did he go,
WWE.
"Let me tell you something, brother"?
Meanwhile,
Let me tell you something,
he's
brother.
not in any of the things that anybody would hear about. So,
Yeah, he's an indie wrestler.
yeah.
"Let me tell you something, brother. My son is going to fucking blah, blah, blah. Hey, the best brother.
Paul Baum was fucking pissed.
I heard Paul was very upset.
He was very upset.
And you don't want to
He
make
actually,
Paul
Paul
angry.
I
actually,
love Paul.
Paul actually went over to him and he goes, "You feel better? You feel better with that fucking pathetic fucking display you did? You feel better? Do you?"
Did he? I didn't know he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And
That's
then he
awesome.
called me up. And he goes, "That was fucking disgusting. The guy's an ignorant fucking idiot. And good for you for staying on stage." And yeah, Paul was pissed.
There are very few people that actually, like, I don't want to say scare, but kind of like frighten me when they get mad. And Paul is one of them. Because Paul is always the
Because
nicest,
he's so nice. So
happiest
when you
guy.
see him
So
angry,
when
yes,
he
I can see
loses
that.
his shit,
I
I'm
can
like,
see that.
he's going to murder motherfucker.
He is a Gemini, so he has that. But you never
I'm
see.
going to
You
the
never
college
see the
astrology.
other side of Paul. You see the nice side. So when you see him, yeah,
No, he
when
was in the
Paul's
right.
rolling up his sleeves, it's like,
Yeah. When
When
Paul
you know
Bond,
you're in the right, you
little fucking.
when Paul
I'm
Bond
afraid-
loses his shit, I get
Because he's never
fucking
doing it to
nervous.
me, but I'm like, if I see him get
Yeah.
mad at other people, I go, I'm a little worried for that guy.
Yeah, I've seen him
Paul's
like lose his.
extra pink.
What does that mean?
His face, like he gets
We
red like
have
me. He's very.
about, like,
Paul's so
4,
pasty
5
white like me.
hormones.
When we get pink, it means we're angry.
now you have a lot of dates, and do you want to plug anything? You can plug anything because we only have 5 minutes
Just
left.
follow me on Facebook, which majority of your listeners already do. So, and you guys are awesome for doing that.
And
Don't
buy
thank
a
God.
ticket to McGuire's this
But
Friday night.
Friday,
And
June
stop
4th,
talking shit.
all gonna
McGuire's
be on that
Comedy
show.
Club, Bohemia, New York. We're all there. You have to go. Buy a fucking
All
ticket.
4 of us. A guy from Scranton with blue hair.
Yeah.
Pete Wolfinger, the
I
Facebook
love
jail
Pete
champion
Wolfinger.
of fucking Suffolk
He's
County.
awesome.
And Jeff Bossy. Let's not forget him.
And Jeff Bosey. Hopefully the fedora will not be with Jeff Bosey. But see. I love Bosey because he buys me drinks.
no comment.
One way to get friends.
What? Wait, no comment. What, is that another person you're pissed at, Bonnie, on the list of who
Yeah, I
Bonnie
have
hates?
about 10 people.
You have a
Oh.
Bonnie list?
10 out of the hundreds I've met.
Get
Should
over
I
it.
consult with you before I book my next show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave
No,
on a high
I
note
can-
here,
I can-
guys.
I
What?
can work with people and just ignore them. There you
What'd
go.
you say?
So we're gonna leave on a high note.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
No, we're
Hi.
not. I'm not
Bill
cutting you
Hanson,
off yet.
Thank
I'm
you.
just
He's
saying,
saying
reel
great
it
show
in.
tonight. Bruno, thank you so much. He's saying great
Reel it
show
in.
tonight.
Reel it in.
Patty Marie.
There it is.
Oh,
There's
I
the
didn't
striped
even-
man.
Oh, shit, I got it. I got
There
it.
it is.
I got the striper.
There's the striper.
I got
Right
it.
there. I got the driver. I got it.
Everybody, share the show. Show you had a great time tonight by sharing the show. We appreciate that.
We have about
You had a
5
great
minutes.
time.
So you guys have any other fucking stories you want to tell?
The fuck with that mouth of yours.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I'm used to it.
Do you guys have
Charlie.
any stories you'd like to
Yeah,
share
you
with
wanna-
us?
I'm
Sorry.
kidding. You gotta
Leave on
be.
a one story that's like
Stories.
Any stories?
Oh,
Sorry.
I have a story I wanted to tell.
Okay, so this is not a comedy story. It is a fishing story.
Ooh,
There we go. I was going to say, go to fishing or Libby.
Right,
So-
yeah.
Always entertaining.
Last month,
Oh, the
because
walrus.
because Chooch couldn't come fishing with us for 3 weeks because I was on the road and I couldn't go
So he had to quarantine when he came back.
So we're fishing. It's me, him, my dad, like always. Boat comes past. Some young kid with his friends on the boat. And he's got 3 little girls on the boat with him. They're like, young kids.
Yeah,
And,
16. Right?
come out on my boat. I'm going to take my dad's boat out and we're going to have fun.
Yeah.
And if you want to go back to shore, you got to blow me. Anyway.
Tristan and Brock from
Yeah,
South
exactly.
Carolina.
Exactly.
Take some pictures
From South
for the
Carolina.
gram.
So they go
and
by,
then
they got there's 3 guys and they got 3 girls on the boat. And him and my father like, hey, look at those girls. And I'm like, they're like 14.
10.
Actually, my father is the worst one. He was just like, huh? My father's like, man, you look at them girls over there. And I'm
I was
like,
making fun of the fucking white
he's
kid.
making fun of the guy.
Terry's
kid-
like, I'm hotter than
No,
those guys.
No, the kid had...
Terry's like, I'm hotter than those girls.
The kid had hair like you with a fucking headband.
Yes, that's right.
And so I'm like,
That's a headband.
look at this
So
fucking
he's like, look at
asshole.
it. So my father goes, and I
So,
go,
and I'm my name joke, so I'm making fun of the names. Going
Right,
on
right.
So-
Brock and Connor and
I look at my
Landon.
father and I go, Dad, those girls are like 15 years old. Like, what is wrong with you? And he goes, these girls today, they turn 15. They fuck like dogs. He goes, all they care about is fucking and pizza. And that's it.
That's what he said.
Your dad?
Fucking
80.
pizza, 80.
Whoa.
Fit fucking and pizza. That's
All
they
you
care
get from that boat is champagne and dick.
So Terry and I are pissing ourselves.
Dying.
Then I get home, shower, everything like that. Karen, my wife, looks at me and goes, do you want to get pizza for dinner? And I go, fuck yeah, I want to get pizza for dinner. But
That's funny.
yeah, and then I texted
hilarious.
Terry. I was like, I got pizza for dinner.
Your
All
friend,
you care about
that
is dick and pizza.
your friend Timothy J. Tim said, I heard Terry is a huge Biden supporter.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
And
Yes,
He secretly supports Joe Biden.
I do.
It was
I,
that
We
one,
don't talk about politics on
and then it
I-
was
I do.
Good.
I love supporting people with a mush mouth that has fucking 11 brain cells and
Mush
nobody
mouth.
understands
He
the
came on
fucking
the
word they're
show.
saying.
mush mouth.
Well,
Good to be here in Iowa. I mean, Ohio. Come on, man.
Peter
Come on, man.
goes, I want pizza. Peter motherfucker will see
Fucking
that. You're so fucking funny.
Yeah.
yeah.
There was another time there was a yacht across from us, and Terry and I are looking at this it's gorgeous yacht. It's just docked, and we're looking at it, and I'm like, man, that's awesome boat. My father goes,
That'd be like Calvin Klein's fucking boat. Like
the only thing you get on that boat is dick
and
and champagne.
His dad
That's-
has a thing.
That's not a fishing boat.
Yeah, his dad
That's
has
a
thing.
fucking boat.
Anytime he sees a boat where there's not a fishing pole, he goes, that's a fucking waste of a boat.
Yeah, it's like a motorcycle hobbyist
Like, yeah.
versus like a fucking
Well, you
biker.
could-
yeah,
like you're
yeah.
like a fucking
You,
Yeah.
you have a
like-
boat where everybody's like laying out in the sun, whatever, and then people like having beers. If there's not a fishing pole on any
Yeah,
boat,
you're
My
fucking-
father's
it's-
mad.
it could be
yeah.
20
He's
feet,
mad.
30
Useless.
feet, or 50 feet. If there's not a fishing pole, he goes, that's a waste of a boat. There's
Well,
nobody
because they
fishing.
probably have the beautiful motor.
He
It's
gets
a
mad. He's
beautiful,
like, what
huge
does he
boat
do?
that he would love to have, and it's
Look
like,
at-
it's a fucking waste.
Look at his,
I get it. I
look
get
at
it,
his
Libby.
chooch with this boat. He don't even got the fishing pole. What is he doing?
Yeah.
Look at that. He's going out for a nice ride on the water.
No.
Fuck him.
That's
Yeah,
unacceptable.
no.
Because that
Stupid.
means he's not bringing a fish home.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
He's
Waste.
not supporting.
It's a waste of life.
It's a waste. You're not fishing on that boat. It's a waste.
Gotta bring fish.
Like
home.
if you,
Dude, we polished off half a bottle of Knob Creek 100 proof. You know why? Because we can fucking pound it. That's right. And now we got to drive home.
You have to stay here and wait.
We'll sober them up
be
here.
careful, Downey. We're coming for you. Me and Tony might be the new Bourbon Brothers.
Yeah, Downey. Fuck you.
Yeah. So,
Patty said take a cab.
yeah. No, we'll Uber them out of here. Don't worry.
We will Uber them out, make sure they're safe.
We're professional drinkers. We don't need to
The
Uber.
Wildflowers are not responsible for car accidents or injuries that happen
Just so you all
from
know
Deer
out
Park
there.
Avenue to
Just so you all know out there,
Lake
Bonnie and
Ronkonkoma.
Mandy bought this for us because they wanted us to get a little umbriaga while we were doing.
So they can pull
sorry.
the truth out of us.
Wait.
Yeah, the truth.
Umbriaga for the white people
We're
out
me
there.
too with
Umbriaga
you
means
guys.
drunk
So
in
there you
Italian.
go, right? We're liquoring you up and getting you like in a compromising position.
Oh, we're gonna have.
Yeah, listen, we saw what you did. You
What was
brought multiple bottles.
Yes.
You're like, get them
Including
shit
my
faced
own.
so that they're honest.
That's right.
You were honest.
You gotta be
And
honest.
now
We
Women
were honest. We
women
told
just
you. We
want
told you who we
pizza.
loved. We told you who
Men
we
just-
hated.
That's
We
it.
told you our good gigs and our bad gigs.
And now comes the 6.
Yeah, and we're gonna have
Not with them, me and Terry.
Yeah,
Have
exactly.
significant others and have sex. Not with us.
Me and Terry are gonna go in.
But thank you everybody
Mandy
for
shed.
tuning in. Any last thoughts?
It's a
before
2-car
we go?
garage. Thank you.
Balagua.
Yeah. What a belong.
So rough.
Thank you guys for hanging with
Thank you.
us.
Share the
Thank you
show.
so much for
Share
having
the
us.
show.
Thanks
Share
for
us.
coming, dude.
I
Awesome.
love this. You
Tony,
guys
thank
great.
you, Terry. We loved having you.
And-
And show up on Friday.
Yeah,
McGuire's,
Flyers.
Bohemia.
June 4th, this Friday. Let's go.
June
Fucking ass down there.
That's right.
GOBS.com.
You'll show your support by actually showing up.
Terry McNeely and friends.
Thank you,
That's
everybody.
us, guys. That's a show.
Peter Najak, thank you.